When the season is on, everybody come along, let's celebrate.
Mama vi also a boaji, they do it dance so. Oh, Roland Walker shares a smile. The show goes on, the AM show. Well, whistle more, move body, shake body on the rhythm of the song. Come on, everybody, come on, let's go. All right. Well, the Christmas season is on.
Hozimbo,
Everybody come along, oh yeah.
Hozimbo, the show is on for the lovely morning.
Reflective morning. Come on, everybody. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him.
See Mama Vide dance, so
See Roland the shake, oh, everything is alright. Come on, everybody, let's.
celebration time in Ghana.
Hey. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him. Oh, jiggy bam bam, bash give him. Here on the AM show.
Keep watching.
Come on, everybody,
Let's watch, let's celebrate.
good morning, everybody. It's a lovely morning, celebrate the day.
Mama vi also abwaji.
Roland Walker, Mofa Mwadishi Niwajo. Waking up from bed in the morning, celebrating a lovely day. Share a smile with neighbors in the community. Everybody come along, let's go. Be generous to one another. It won't cost you nothing.
AM show.
AM show.
Powerful. What can't you sing about?
Everything that can't be sung about can be sung about.
You are so creative. You improvise like nobody can. You just sing about anything
Just
and
everything.
what you experience and what you
Inspired
see.
by what you experience and by what you feel like singing.
When you started singing about the referendum, I was like, oh my gosh, he is so current.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
But it's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Season's greetings to you, Mr. Kabunu.
Same with felicities and all the joys that you will expect.
Yeah. It's a privilege to have you on the AM show.
Grateful.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure.
But when did you begin? Did you start singing like this?
No. It started decades ago. So it means that I have crossed some of the ages of time. But the challenges still remain. That life must go on and then you must appreciate it with more music.
Absolutely.
So for as long as you live on and grow up, you know, you grow up into your career, spread it around by training other people and helping them to come at par with what you do.
Yeah. I know you perform at corporate events a lot more. You're very familiar. The corporate world is familiar with you.
It is familiar with me, but much more from the individual zones to the corporate zones.
Okay.
Because it takes an individual to create a community. And then parties go on, you know, and then other fraternities build up from there and then. So it keeps going on, you know, every time.
All right. So we also know that today the referendum is taking place in the 4 regions for the creation of the 6 proposed regions. And it's a yes vote representing yellow and no vote representing brown. I don't know how come they do a shade of brown. Doesn't mean I'm blacks, you know, we're all brown. Well, no. Anyway. So that's what it is, and we've decided to station our various correspondents, and Erastus Asaridonko, Himinteria, as well as Mauli Yevu Agbe. And of course, we'll have the latest Justice Bedu also in Yende. We'll bring you the best of the coverage as far as this is related.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Ivy Satoji and Fred Kwame Asari. There's Hashmin Mohammed, who is also stationed. We'll get details. In Natalia is also in the Western region, so our correspondents all over will be heavy on the referendum in terms of materials. Are they at the venue? Are people queuing up to vote? Is 50% of the people must show up to vote, and 80% of the vote must be a yes to create a new region or a no to not create a new region. So we'll get a lot of conversation on that. We've got some background information to also share with you. So the number of regions possibly we could create: 6 affected regions, Bono Ahafo, Northern Volta, and the Western. So the Volta and Western region, 1 each from those regions, and then we could possibly have 2 from the Bono Ahafo region and 2 from the Northern region. All these places, we've got our correspondents on standby. A little background to where we've come to this point, 17th October 2017, the president inaugurated, remember, the Commission of Inquiry. 26th of June 2018, the commission presented report to the presidency. Some of the details we have for you will be the membership of that Commission of Inquiry. Remember, Justice Brobe, retired Supreme Court Justice, chaired that commission, and then we've got other members who made up that commission, also showing on your screen. So details of what's happening on the ground, materials gone to places there, places that are hard to reach, but the Electoral Commission is assuring us that they're sending materials. In the Volta region, the police there is on high alert because of report that some chiefs allegedly want to release some persons on motorbikes to cause trouble. So the police is really, really high on their alert in the Volta region. More details as to what is happening. We know that voting is supposed to begin at exactly 7 a.m. We have a deputy EC commissioner joining us on the AM show for a conversation this morning on exactly what's going to be happening and what do they anticipate could be challenges and how do they intend to overcome those challenges. So stay with us here on the AM show. It's 27, but it feels like a holiday.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all because people, it depends on where you're working, and some of the corporate institutions in the corporate world, they give a long holiday period. Of course, depending on which side of the work structure, you tend to work in between, but largely the workforce, apart from being operational, will have to be on a holiday period. So we also know that events are taking place in town. Uncle White is resuming his play from 2 days ago, and so those chain of plays will be taking place today, tomorrow, the next, and the next as well, and then way into the early days of the new year. So you have a lot more to talk about. Tomorrow, we also have Stoneboy also having his show as well.
Yeah,
so
the BIM concert at the Fantasy Dome. Meanwhile, the Rapaholic concerts and the excesses, fallouts of that event is still very much on the lips of people. The reviews, some rating this year's Rapaholic as the worst.
Yes, and the reviews haven't been good.
No.
But I always say that we also need to look at the positives of what the negatives will come out of some of these events. We need, one thing though, we do know, that they oversold the tickets, but it also, on the other side, gets to show that we don't have big entertainment domes or venues. So that's is a big thing that I guess event organizers need to think about. Okay,
right now though, we want to go over to myjoyonline.com. Let's check out what's making headlines on our page today. Remember that the newspapers are holidaying, so we don't have hardcore newspapers. But if you're home, if you're working perhaps and you need an update, well, one portal that doesn't go on holiday you can trust is myjoyonline.com. That's our home. So let's go to myjoyonline.com. Let's check out what's making headlines already on your screen. Oh, the Rapaholic concert 2018 irresponsible ticket oversell was a disaster.
So we have other stories. The police on high alert over mayhem plot in the Bonafo region. Mama Viusabwaji gave you a gist of what the situation is already. We know that a cache of arms were also seized by the police en route to sections of the Volta region, and looks to be one of the trouble spots, so to speak, for this referendum. But we have other posts, and we have gold hit 6-month high and rose its highest on the commodities or the international market. That's a good thing. At least it means that we get more revenues coming in from our exports or what the proceeds are. Well, prepare for 2019, year of harvest. Every year is a year of harvest. 2019 is another one. Duncan Williams. IMF has no credibility. James Kluche Aveji is a deputy minority leader. Kodeo positions 50 observers in some 47 districts for the referendum.
Joy FM Keteke Fever, a perfect party to perfect audience comes off tonight. So this happened yesterday at the Labadi Beach Hotel. I tell you what, if you missed, well, then you missed big time. You have to make way next year. Rat meat topples chicken pork in India. Can we? Okay, so freshly caught rats is at the top of the holiday menu for crowds flocking, I beg, let's stay flocking to a market in northeastern India that specializes in rodents from local fields.
Wow.
Oh, you know what you would say?
Rodent is that a cranty? Oh, this one is rats. Rats.
Sometimes when you see it, you say yaki. Wait until it's prepared. You don't know what it is, and you taste it. Then you begin to love it. All right, this is City Newsroom. So stories on City Newsroom. We'll pay former recruits by second quarter of 2019. That's YEA. Why was Aisha One freed? Coalition Against Galamsey petitions AG. That's a question that a lot of us have been asking. NDC Samson-Ahi campaigns for Western Northern region ahead of referendum. Well, the day is today. We'll see how far the convincing has gone. Cordell to deploy 50 election observers for new regions referendum. This is a historic one. It's never happened. Well, at least not in my lifetime. This continuation of Aisha One's case saved taxpayers money. Really? We'll pay former recruit by, okay, so that's the story. So these are some of the stories on my City Newsroom. There's Kufuor's son pulls out of NPP Ayawaso West Wagon primaries as well. They said the NDC
John Dumelo has also
is getting ready for theirs.
John Dumelo has also withdrawn from
Baulishi, John Dumelo has, okay, well, did he pick up forms before?
So he picked up forms.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll go to the BBC if we can. Yeah, all right, that's it, the BBC.
And Trump greets U.S. troops in Iraq amid the decision or the announcement by Trump himself that he was going to pull U.S. troops out of Syria. It says the U.S. President and First Lady made an unannounced Christmas visit to U.S. personnel in Iraq, and that was a good one. You get to watch the videos on social media, but more so on YouTube, and you get to find that it was a surprise party. Looks like the U.S. President always needs to do that. They don't have to announce all their presence around because some of those areas are dangerous. U.S. stock markets rally after slump, and the Dow Jones is up by nearly 5%, and the technology-focused Nasdaq rises by nearly 6%. Frenchman aims to cross Atlantic in a barrel. We don't do these in Africa. Talk about Ghana. We won't cross the Volta Lake for anything. So at least they try to. Jean-Jacques Sauvé hopes ocean current alone will propel him as he is sludged somewhere in the barrel, crossing from the Canaries to the Caribbean. At least when he gets to the Caribbean, you hear some patois and some language spoken by the local people. If he's able to get there with just currents, strong currents, that's what he's depending on to cross the Atlantic. That's quite dangerous, though.
All right. So if you're interested in any of the stories you've heard us review, you can just log on foremost to myjoyonline.com, and then you can be updated. We've got Ken Kabonu in the studio, and it feels, I don't know, it feels different because for the first time we kind of have something in the background while we talk.
While we do,
and it's really, really cool.
Yeah. But we also have to announce that we have a conversation with Dr. Bosman Asari. He's a Deputy Electoral Commissioner for Ghana's Electoral Commission, and he's all on the referendum and the EC's preparations. Yeah.
I've got quick dedications to do. Mrs. Catherine Edubrenya of Safe Hands Clinic and Maternity Home in Takrady.
Let's equalize. This one also goes to you, pharmacist Salifu Combat. You're in Boko, and also to your wife Flora and the rest of the family.
I've got a friend, Alaska. He says he's enjoying what you're doing.
Celebrate the season, still on the show.
Ken, and then we'll bring you some sports updates.
Still on the AM show.
Everybody come along, let's do it, dance. Well, what's some more here, make you do that dance. Would you like to dance all out? Still on the AM show. Mama be the dance, so shake body on the rhythm of the song, make you move body, yeah. Mama be they taking steps, so oh, dance up, dance up, dance up, dance up, dance up.
Oh, when the day goes on. Oh, when the day begins.
Dance a guaja, shake body, alright. Surprisingly, she's taking the right steps.
Oh, life is a question
Of yes and no's, just like the referendum.
Sometimes people go all out. Sometimes they may frown and look serious.
Serious faces never make serious minds. Sometimes the accession might be wrong. Afiaya ne bani na wo, anteliko waka forwarding. Afiaya ne bani na wo, afiaya ne bani na wo,
Alantelico, aka forwarding.
afiaya ne bani na wo.
When the day goes on,
Let's stop the day.
let's enjoy.
Let's enjoy the day. Let's be loving too. Let's show love to one another.
When the night has come, the day has just begun. I'm adapting this tune to go all out and sing. Oh yeah. When everybody wakes up in the daytime, watching the AM show, yeah.
Would you please come on, stand by me?
Oh, when the night has come, the daylight has just begun. The night is gone.
Gone into yesterday, just roll on.
When the smiles turn the sadness,
And takes it away all day long.
for as long as you keep shining everywhere. So Lord, please
Stand by everybody. Keep on directing every generation. Will you please show us love to reflect in our lives?